Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Ma'am Christina. So today I will be reporting about cooperative learning, which is a one strategy or methods of an effective teaching. So I will be sharing with you my slides about cooperative learning. So basically, cooperative learning is also known as collaborative learning or group learning. So learning is a strategy of learning or methods of learning which we usually use to make our methods or delivery of learnings effective. So, but before we start, I have here a thought to ponder, which says individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, and a civilization work. So, what do you mean by cooperative learning? So first, before we um, proceed, let's first define what is cooperative learning. So basically, cooperative learning is defined as an instructional strategy where small teams of students, usually two or to six members, work together to maximize their individual and collective learning. So after the team members are organized into the small groups and received instruction from their teacher, students within the team cooperate with one another and work through the assignment until each team member successfully understands and completes it. And it is also ultimately shared goals are accomplished individually by each team members and collectively by the group as a whole. So basically, cooperative learning can be done with two or more than six members. So it is consists of more than two members so that this kind of methods will be implemented or be effectively performed. So possible in a group, if given a certain task, this kind of strategy would really help the students to complete their work easily. Next, what does a cooperative model look like? So this cooperative model of cooperative learning look like wherein students work cooperatively compared with traditional models where individuals are only looking out for themselves. So from the word itself, cooperatively, so there should be a groupings rather than individually doing a certain work. So another, team members are responsible for their own individual learning as well as for their teammates' learning. So each group or each members of the group are responsible to their own learning and also to their own teammates. So they are made up of high, medium, and low academic achieving students. So basically, this cooperative learning model should be a heterogeneous mixtures of the different students with different unique abilities so that within their group they could be able to share their different skills or knowledge about a certain task that they will do. So it is like what I said, it is a heterogeneous in gender, race, culture, and socioeconomic status. Another one, team members contribute their knowledge, experience, skills, and resources to the group. Team members cooperate and collaborate. They benefit from the contribution of the individual team members and they acquire new skills and knowledge, and also rewards are oriented towards individual and by group. Even though they work together as a group, but then they have given different tasks individually. in each group. So all of them has something to do rather than letting it to do to their own group leader or any kind of member. So within this kind of strategy, there should be a teamwork and coordination among the group members. So teamwork is the key word. So theoretical support and research on cooperative learning and its effects. So there are a lot of research that supports that cooperative learning is best way or a good way methods or strategies of delivering or teaching a certain subject, especially in my major in teaching science. So I usually do cooperative or groupings to my students when making some task. So cooperative learning and its effects based from the research. So according to research, there are more than 900 studies which validate the effectiveness of cooperative learning over competitive individualistic efforts. So these studies have been conducted by many different researchers, settings around the world. Research participants have varied wildly as cultural background, economic class, age and gender, and a wide variety of research tasks and dependent variables have been used. So over and over, the research reveals that students completing comparative learning group tasks tend to have higher academic test scores, higher self-esteem, greater number of positive social skills, fewer stereotypes of individual of other races or ethnic groups, and greater comprehension of the content and skills they are studying. So, based from the research, cooperative learning is really effective to all of us around the world who's been using this as a method or strategy of teaching. So basically, the student will able to as a result, the student will have a higher self-esteem, academic test scores will be higher, and there will be a passive social skills and other. So next, the classroom as a societal mirror. So classroom as a societal mirror, which they cooperative learning or collaborative learning can be actually applied. So based from this, research on cooperative learning began in late 1890s when Triplett in the United States and Mayer in Germany conducted a series of research studies on the factors associated with competitive performance. They were followed in 1960s by John Dewey, whose book Democracy and Education was one of the first to argue that classroom should mirror the land, society, and be laboratory for the life learning. So basically, before this cooperative learning started or implemented, they it starts with a competitive type of learning, but then they've noticed that the effect or the effectiveness of this strategy is not that good or it's not that high compared with the effects of cooperative learning within the classroom. So, so that is why the highest and the best form of efficiency is spontaneous cooperation among free people. So, as as the saying goes, nobody as in nobody is an island. So we should or no man is an island. So we did not or we cannot exist without each other, without the help of one another, and without the existence of one another. So that is why cooperation is very efficient and effective to all of us. So there are a lot of researchers who been research or who've been contributed a lot to this collaborative learning. So the leading researchers of the collaborative learning includes Robert Slavin, Roger and David Jensen, Spencer Kagan, and all whom have slightly different approaches and emphasis. So for Jensen and Jensen, it focused on developing a specific structure that can be incorporated within a variety of curriculums, with an emphasis on integrating social skills and academic skills. While for Kagan's work, it focuses on the use of many different structures to help facilitate active learning, team building, and group skills. And for Slavin's, it utilizes methods from both Johnson and Kagan and has resulted in development of specific learning structure. So basically, ang Slavin is the combination of Johnson and Johnson and Kagan's method of collaborative learning. So collaborative learning does not apply only during teaching. It basically apply to all kind of work or even or um, social skills or the way we socialize with other people, the way we survive. Cooperation is very important. Cooperation is always there to make a certain work or certain task to be successful or to be effective. So much more with that. Another researcher also is Shlomo Sharan, wherein he used cooperative learning as a tool of addressing social imbalances. Sharan and his colleagues at Tel Aviv University utilized cooperative learning to counteract racial prejudice between Jewish groups in Israel following the collapse of the Soviet Union. His research clearly showed that instructional methods influence students' cooperative and competitive behavior, provide these three conditions were met. So for Sharon, it is not only for the um, cooperative learning to be used in school, but also he used it as a tool for addressing social imbalances, so which includes the three conditions: immediate entertaining contract occurs under the condition of equal status between member and the various groups. The setting officially sanctions an interethnic cooperation. Sharon found cooperative learning allowed the students to understand how a situation appears in another person and how the person is reacting cognitively, emotionally to the situation. Cooperative learning reduces egocentrism and opens students' viewpoint to extend and that they may be aware of the points of view and limitation of their own perspective. So but basically it helps individual to be open-minded to the different situation of a certain individual. Next. So for Robert and David Johnson, a research of David and Roger Johnson and their colleagues provide a foundation for how cooperative learning is structured in most of these classrooms. So basically, this is the main researcher that focuses the cooperative learning to be applied in our classrooms. So their research shows that merely because students work in small groups does not mean they are cooperating to ensure their own learning and the learning of all other groups. Additional research concludes that the more students care about each other, the harder they will work to achieve mutual learning goals. So long-term and persistent efforts to achieve do not come from the head, they come from the heart. So cooperative learning simultaneously models interdependence and provides students with experiences they need to understand the nature of cooperation. Robert Slavin, the research comparing cooperative learning with traditional instructional methods attribute the widespread positive effect that are typical students of cooperative learning to one or more of the following explanation. So under his label is motivational effect, cognitive developmental effect, cognitive elaboration effect. So Slave then focuses on this following effect of implementing cooperative learning. So first, motivational effect, cognitive development, and cognitive elaboration. For motivational, in several studies, students in cooperative learning groups felt more strongly than students in other learning programs. The other group mates wanted them to come to school every day and work hard in that class. So students in cooperative learning groups were more likely to hard and ability than to love within within the groups. It also has a cognitive development effect. So this collaboration promotes cognitive growth because the student adds ability and cognitive elaboration effect, wherein new information that is elaborated, restructured, and relaxed to existing knowledge is more easily retrieved from memory. A particularly effective means of elaboration is explaining something to someone else. So through their groupings, they would get new information and which being shared from each other. Spencer Kagan. It develops more than 100 structure of incorporate the basic principle of cooperative learning. He has trained more than 20,000 teachers in cooperative learning through workshops and conferences. We are very clear with teachers that they should make cooperative learning part of any lesson, Kagan says. Ours is an integrated approach rather than replacement approach. So for example, Kagan structured teachers to use time pair share structure. In this exercise, the teacher divides the class into pairs of students and poses a question within each pair. Student A talks about his or her answer for 1 minute, then student B does the same. So there's really a cooperation, even though they are there's really a cooperation within the group or within the pair in this time pair share. So another is Johnson, Holobic, and Roy. So according to them, the cornerstones for of cooperative learning are positive interdependence, which means sync or swim together, promote interaction, face-to-face, individual and group accountability, teaching the required group interpersonal and small group skills, and group processing or the reflection. So basically, it's the cornerstone of cooperative learning according to Johnson, Holobic, and Roy. So we'll be discussing this thoroughly later. So, well, the basic principle of cooperative learning models that um, gives um, different research study about but Okay, so the models, well, the basic principle of cooperative learning do not change. There are structures which have been studied extensively. So under these are the learning together in time, mid 1960s researchers Johnson and Johnson. Next is Team Games Tournament, early 1970s by DeVries and Edwards. Group Investigation in mid 1970s, Sharon and Sharon. Constructive Academic, mid 1970s, and the rest of this. So the very known Jigsaw by late 1970 by Aronson and Associates. So these are the following cooperative learning models that has been implemented or developed throughout all throughout the year by the different researchers on it. So research results says that cooperative learning is one of the best research of all teaching strategies. The results show the students who have opportunities to work a lot collaboratively learn faster and more efficiently, have greater retention, and feel more positive about the learning experience. So needless to say, students cannot just be put into a group and assigned a project to complete. There are very specific methods to ensure that success of the group that is essential that both teachers and students are aware of it. So it is very evident that cooperative learning is very effective as one teaching strategist or method in delivering our lesson. So teamwork represents a set of values that encourage behaviors such as listening and constructively responding to the point of view expressed by others, giving others the benefit of the doubt, providing support to those who need it, and recognizing the interests and achievements of others by Katzenbach and Smith. So there are five cooperative learning. There are five elements are cooperative learning, or also known as the uh, cornerstone of cooperative learning. First, the positive interdependence. Second, the face-to-face interaction. Third, individual and group accountability. Third, interpersonal and small group skills. And last is the group self-evaluation. So first, what do you mean by positive interdependent? So in this element, it is also known as sink or swim together. So it's either you sink as a group or swim as a group together. So no one is left behind. So kumbaga pakwan pak all. So kung mo sink ang sa sink tanan, kung malangoy ang sa langoy tanan. So in this kind of element, walay sync or walay mo sync kundi kung unsa ang usa maupod ang the rest of the group. So it is my gain or your gain, or I can't do it without you. So that is what do you mean by positive interdependence. Next is the face-to-face interaction. So in face-to-face interaction, it promotes each other's success. So we work with a partner or as a team. I need your help and you need mine. So it is a win-win for both of the team. Okay. For the third element is the individual and group accountability. No hitchhiking, no social loafing. So basically, am I doing my part? Are you doing your part? I'm going to demonstrate what I know. So individual and group accountability meaning each members or each individual of the group has its own part to play in the group we're in. They should they should do it in order for the group to be successful under certain group work or tasks that that are assigned to do. Okay. And the fourth one is the interpersonal and small group skills. So basically, it is more on social skills must be taught. So we are all participating. Some are listening, some are speaking, some get to recite, others get to coach. sometimes we are all doing part of an activity at the same time. So bali more on there's no individual task, but rather the social skills wherein no one will walay magbuo kung sa ilang buhaton, but it's up to them to participate, or it's up to them to do their part as a group. So social skills must be taught in this element. Next one is the group processing. For group processing, the last element are also known as group self-evaluation. So you evaluate yourself or you evaluate performance. Basically, it is more on reflection on what you have learned or what you have contribute to your group, or is it successful, or what would be the result of your task being assigned to you. So bali is a group processing or reflection. So that's all for the elements of cooperative learning. Now, what do we do, or what do we do when we plan for cooperative learning? So planning for cooperative learning, there are 6 key steps involved in planning a cooperative learning. We usually do during our lessons. So first, choose an approach, choose an appropriate content, form students' team, develop materials, plans for entering students, tasks and roles, plans for the use of time and space. So this is the following important details to be remembered when planning a cooperative learning or doing a cooperative learning in our lesson. Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objective. It is a fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results, by Andrew Carnegie. So I will pay more for the ability to deal with the people than any other ability under the sun, by John Rockefeller. So another thoughts to ponder. So how do we use, or how to use cooperative learning in the classes? Cooperative learning techniques revolve around the use of a particular tool. Small groups can be used with almost any other educational strategy. So, class activity that use cooperative learning. So think, example of this is the think, pair, share. So basically the different application of the different collaborative learning. Think, share. So there should be pair, and then each pair will share their thoughts about a certain topic or ideas that assigned to them. So jigsaw puzzle, so very known. So to make this puzzle easily solved, so each individual or each group should cooperate and solve this together. Next is a 3-step interview. For this kind of example, it follows different steps to do before certain interview to be done. So it should be done with a relaxed manner, or not that so intimidating styles. Next one is the round robin brainstorming. So round robin brainstorming is a individual in each group has or should contribute certain ideas about a certain topic. So it's a round robin. So I must say that individual should or has a part to do or task to do to make their group um, to make their group effectively delivered their job. Okay, another one is a 3-minute review. Another is the number heads together. Next is the team pair solo. Last is the circle, the sage, partners. So those were the different application or example of collaborative learning that we can apply in our lesson, or one way of delivering or methods of our teaching. So for your information, learning pyramid. So based on this research on learning pyramid, all the students with a different teaching strategy. So here the average retention of students, if fewer or more on lectures, so 5% only will be retained to them. Reading 10%, audiovisual 20%, demonstration 30%, discussion group 50%, practice by doing 75%, teach other or immediate use, which is 90%. So basically it shows how effective it's about cooperative learning to each of us. Next. So will cooperative learning improve academic performance in your class? So what do you think? So most probably of us will agree to this. Yes, it is very effective and it really improves our academic performance of our students when we do cooperative learning. So cooperative learning strengths as the greatest strength, wherein it is a wide range of positive outcomes that have been found in the research. The research demonstrate that when the classroom is structured in a way allows students to work cooperatively on learning, the students benefit academically as well as socially. So it focuses the effect on the academic and as well as their social skills. So cooperative learning methods are usually inexpensive and easy to implement. The teacher need minimal training to use these techniques. The growing use of cooperative learning techniques demonstrate that in addition to their effectiveness, they are practical and attractive to teachers. So, if na siya strength, na po siya possible nga weakness ang cooperative learning. So, weakness of a cooperative learning is that the students do not learn equally. Yeah, many believe that combining gifted students with lower achievers that not sufficiently challenge gifted students. So, there are some instances nga makasugat ta ani nga mga situation wherein mag-groupings ta, and then syempre sa groupings na to, we make sure nga ma-distributed ang katong mga average or mga what you call that, mga honor students among the group, and the rest of the not so good in academic. So there are some times that the higher the gifted or the honor student will just do the work individually, because most of their groupmates will just kanang magsalig lang gud kay nay mo himo, nagsalig sa leader. So ang most usually complaints sa atong mga students. So we can't deny the fact nga na-dyan mo na ang mga situation. That is why apply siya sa weakness sa cooperative learning. So the main weakness of cooperative learning is when a teacher implements an ineffective manner. Despite of the strong interest in cooperative learning, many practitioners are implementing the concept effectively. Many practitioners are not implementing the concept effectively. Cooperative learning has become a standard that sometimes it is honored in which Herbert Slayton notes. Everybody's heard of it, and they all have a course on it or some mention of it in their pre-service. So they just use it from time to time. It's not seen as a big deal innovation anymore. In some ways, that undermines both the quality of implementation and the likelihood that people really understand that what they're really doing. In the hands of the poorly trained teachers, cooperative learning can dissolve into little more than a loud, chaotic classroom. If you stop with just putting the student in a group, Jensen warns, you may not get the positive effect of cooperative learning. So that is why, as much as we teachers when we do or give a collaborative or cooperative report to our student, we make sure that we facilitate them or we facilitate every group so that you will still be in control of your class. So we should try to be strict and firm with our different rules or regulations in our classroom, even though we're still, or even though we've implementing the cooperative learning. Okay, so the real team don't emerge unless individuals on them take risks involving conflict, trust, interdependence, and hard work by Beck and Smith. Just because you put students in groups doesn't mean they'll work as a team. Yes, really. So we should be careful of that, and we should be um, distribute or make it heterogeneously distribute the teams among the group or individually distribute them among the group with different intelligences so that each of the group can um, contribute to their group. So what would be the future outlook of cooperative learning? Cooperative learning is here to stay because it is based on profound and strategic theory and there is substantial research validating its effectiveness. There probably will never be a time in the future when cooperative learning is not used extensively within education program. So basically, cooperative learning will be forever or will be part of our education as one of our strategies or method of teaching. So, education is social process. Education is growth. Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself by John Dewey. So that is why we learn by doing. We'll learn with the help of the others. We'll learn with our groups, with our team through cooperative learning. Okay, so before I end my topic for my discussion, I will leave you with this quote: all for one and one for all, by Alexandre Thomas. So, well, thank you for listening. So, that's all for my report, which is collaborative learning. I hope you learned something about my report. So, that's all, and thank you.